I wanted to try to capture the excitement that we had when the township, with the help of the county, approved an ordinance which overlays our site, which is currently zoned for single family homes, car-oriented, no common house lots. They came around to our way of thinking. It took a while. In competition with tonight's webinar here, we have one of our colleagues presenting the electric car to the community. I will tell you, in the last 2 or 3 years, this area has come a long way, and they now fully support it. That one of the main reasons they were able to put through this ordinance was that they saw the need for a sustainable example. They also saw a way they could measure what we were doing. I mentioned the Sites Initiative from the U.S. Green Building Council. We're actually getting a bonus to do that, but it's built into the ordinance. We also have credit and a bonus for being a 55 and older community, which allows us to build a few more houses. Those two bonuses bring the cost of the homes down. This ordinance was adopted a while ago, and there's so many features that are already built into it that make it an eco-village. I'll just tell you 2 or 3. One is they changed their parking ordinance. Instead of having 2 cars per home, and believe me, some of the developers in our area brag about having up to 4 or 5 cars per home, we're at 1.5. Coupled with that is a ride-sharing program that we've been working on with the National Co-Housing conversations. We also have extensive open spaces, reduced impervious pavings. So basically, we have a green site already if we follow the ordinance and do nothing more. I'm going to show you how we are actually exceeding what's in the ordinance. If you'll go to the next slide. So you have 2 people here. Tesla Dave is on the left. He's using Jonathan's tractor to maintain our field. We will be investing in an electric zero-turn tractor if we need it. The fellow on the right is from a local permaculture orchard called 100 Fruit Farm up in Bucks County. And he is cultivating plants for us to populate our woods and also the pedestrian walkways. We're debating whether to put a deer fence all the way around the site. That's still up in the air, but we may be able to get a grant through programs. As I said, we're going to be working on a soil management plan and a very extensive program for reducing water and maintaining native plants. The passive house is well beyond what's in the ordinance. I know of only one state that requires it, and maybe Patricia, you know something about that. In Washington State, they're moving toward having a passive house as part of a fairly standard construction. It's actually quite revolutionary. It's only been around for 20 or 30 years, and it's improved a great deal. They're now much more concerned with using healthy materials, non-toxic materials, and materials that do not outgas. The main features, as you see here, are a very high level of insulation and airtight construction. The yellow is the insulation, the blue line is the airtight construction. As a homeowner, you're not going to be drilling into the wall or you will ruin the envelope. So we're going to have to watch that. But this building, when put out in the field will stay at 55 degrees year round. That's how tight it is. Some people are a little reluctant to live in a house like this and say, well, where's the air? The ventilation system brings air in and filters it with a very high filter. The equipment has improved so much in the last few years that the people who lived in Passive House in downtown San Francisco couldn't even smell the smoke of these vast forest fires that just completely clouded the environment. Could not even smell the smoke. That's how good the ventilation system was in these houses. So I've hit on several of the features. We also have features beyond this, such as you can purchase transparent film that will keep some of the EMFs out. We're going to have standard Ethernet cabling, which is more secure and faster. We have several other features that even go beyond the Passive House, and we will be certified. Every house will have a Passive House certification. So
Joel, what's an EMF?
Electromagnetic frequencies. These are, they're also magnetic frequencies as well. I don't have time to go into those details here, but we've been discussing it. The Healthy Circle is actually doing the specification with our panelized factory-built company down in Baltimore called Blueprint Robotics. And if you go on our website, you can get a tour of that. And we do have one other community building with that currently, Rachel Carson, out in north of Pittsburgh. And we're also exploring it, some other communities that are interested. So that will cut down the length of time of construction, incredible quality control because it's done in the factory. The entire village of 29 homes can be put up as the envelopes within 3 or 4 weeks. Next slide. As I mentioned, the ordinance has a robust set of requirements. They only require 50% alternative energy. The most efficient is solar. We don't have winds, we don't have hydro. Geothermal doesn't figure, radiant floors do not figure. You don't need it with the Passive House and insulation on the floor. But with the arrays we have, when I show you the site plan, from the carports to the solar panels, and then going through the controller and the common house, watching the peak loads and so on, and adjusting for battery backup when needed. We will not be using DC appliances yet. They're going to be AC. So over to the right, you see that they need to be inverted, and there's the panel that would be in your home. And we're working now with our utility company for a single meter, which will be the first for this type of project in the state. So we're very we're looking forward. There are some other technologies. This is all tied into the electric car as well, which could provide the battery backup when available, and DC appliances possible when available. But right now we're going to use the technology that's out there. As you know, solar panels are getting much more efficient, and we need fewer of them, and the cost is coming down as well. The Department of Energy grant we're working on will do a great job in funding much of this system that you see here. There will be a separate bill for paying for the actual product, the actual workings that you see there. Energy bills will be practically minimal in our community. We have to be on public water and sewer. Go ahead with the next slide. I'm just giving a small example. Even out in the suburbs, people are starting to convert their lawns to not only gardens, but rain gardens. We have to take care of all of the water that comes on our site. There's extremely rigid stormwater ordinance. And we are able to do that with native plants and recharge systems underneath the pervious paving and so on. We will have walkways and open spaces and trails that will all be able to collect the water and redistribute.